Pontiac Theatre IV is rolling out the pink carpet for their production of Legally Blonde the musical, and today we're chatting with director Achilles Slee about the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So I do want to say that last season we did see you in The Dearly Departed. You were hilarious. And now you get to take those comedic chops into directing Legally Blonde. What drew you to wanting to direct this show?
I have loved this movie since I was little. I've been watching it since I was 5 years old. It was one of my favorite movies. And the musical version actually stumbled into my life many years later after I had met my partner. She put it on and it was like watching the story for the first time all over again. And that was just super exciting. And then I've been with Pontiac Theatre for I think just about a decade now. And I had recently just gotten my assistant director's credit with Spelling Bee, and they put out that Legally Blonde was one of the musicals going up, and they needed a director. And I was like, well, I'm qualified, and I'll put in, and if I get it, that's amazing. And if I don't, I'm gonna come be a part of it. And I just got really lucky.
Congratulations on that. And also congratulations on the assistance director for Spelling Bee. That was also another hilarious production from Pontiac Theatre IV.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that was such an experience.
And I love that you said that about this show, is because I also grew up on the film, but the musical has such a it's a distinct identity, even though it's the same story. I cannot think of them almost as the same type of show.
They're drastically different, and I think part of it is that the movie is very much rooted in its early 2000 culture, which I absolutely love. I grew up in it, but the musical can be adapted to continue to be a part of this generation because these are problems that we're seeing still, and I love just getting to retell that story over and over and over again to new people.
Absolutely. And I'm impartial just because, again, I've seen both of them, but I think the musical is even better than the film because of the musical identity that it has with it. And as a musical theater nerd, I think that it has some iconic music. It's just such a great show. It has great energy, and it still has that really strong message from the film.
Absolutely. I mean, "Gay or European," I think, is one of the songs that most people know, even if they don't know it's from the show.
For sure. I think for my first time I ever heard it, I was So Much Better. And it came on my
Mm.
shuffle one day, randomly. And I was like, oh, this is such a good song. What's it from? And it was from Legally Blonde, you know? Um, so how do you make this production feel unique or fresh compared to other versions? Because this is a story so many people know.
So a lot of it, we're really just trying to, find our ways to stay true to this story, but still, bring it to the present, and so, we're not texting on flip phones, we're using iPhones. But also I thought it was really important for all of the cast to wear something that they felt comfortable in. We are so lucky to have
Oh,
a really diverse cast. We have so many different personalities, and I wanted to make sure that everybody felt like they were represented up there.
that's incredible. That's incredible to have, that your vision is everybody be comfortable because you're already in a vulnerable position being up on stage, but you want everyone to express themselves in a story that is about kind of finding yourself.
Absolutely.
So with a show like this, because there is quite a bit of comedy, but there is quite a bit of emotional moments too. There's quite a bit of poignancy with this. How do you approach balancing that as a director?
I honestly, I was always making sure that everybody was feeling super comfortable within their roles. Um but we were it was honestly just a lot of laughs. We were really kind of goofing off throughout our rehearsals and making jokes. And then I was a bit scared about those kind of heavier moments, but both
Sure.
of our Elle and our Emmett, they have just absolutely blossomed into these roles. Oh,
That's awesome. I just, especially with an iconic role like Elle, were there specific qualities you were almost looking for when you were casting for Elle, or did you have a vision of who Elle was in your head for the stage production?
not really. I think that Elle is a really she can be very diverse. Like she has a lot to
Sure.
her character. And I guess really the only qualities that I was looking for is someone who's ready to come up, show up, and stand out, and really hold space for themselves because that's what Elle
Sure.
Woods does, and that's who we got. We saw a lot of people, honestly, all of them have those qualities. None of them are apologetic about being themselves and being loud and just very happy, and that's really all I was looking for.
I think that what I love about this is that you have your vision is so inclusive, and I feel like a lot of theaters, they don't always, as a gay man, it's good. I feel really excited to see that like it was better to like find people who were like living a truth and like were also just ready to go, and instead of like looking for like what someone is assuming is like the perfect L, you know what I mean?
Mhm. I absolutely understand that. There have been a lot of roles throughout theater. I've had a lot of really good roles, but I've also had a lot of roles where I've been diminished to how I look versus how I behave and how I hold myself, especially while portraying a character. And I know that I myself have a lot more qualities to show about myself rather than just being loud and taking up space. And so I absolutely wanted to make sure that I could look past everything in each one of these characters and see who held the qualities that I was looking for.
That's a beautiful thing, and that just shows you how much you actually care about the story and the people, and not just that image. And so again, I'm just really warming to kind of hear that. Like it sounds like you have such a deep understanding and love for the story.
I really do. I love this story. I love musical theater in general. I wish I could do so much more of it.
Totally understand that. So with this production, then what was maybe the biggest challenge to directing the show?
Honestly, I think it was time. This is a really, really big musical, especially for my first time directing. And I already am a bit of a struggler with time blindness. And so
Sure.
we had about 2.5 to 3 months, and those blew by so fast. And of course, everybody was like, oh my gosh, we're not ready. But that's kind of how it feels before every tech week. But as
Sure.
soon as we hit, that our tech week, it came together absolutely beautifully. I keep referring to it as we were like, "We're gonna Frankenstein these pieces together," and it honestly ended up becoming nearly flawless. I am so proud of everybody in the cast and crew for making the vision possible.
That is, I mean, it always comes together in the end, but like that's cool that it's flowing so well. Were there aspects of the show that you had to change from your vision as you were getting closer to like the time that it was opening night?
I think there were definitely a couple things that, like, I wanted to do, but, it was the time that really got me.
Sure.
I always think of Legally Blonde being a really big and flashy show, and that takes a lot of time and a lot of hands, and I only had so much
Sure.
of both. But I
Sure.
still think it came together really beautifully, and it was just honestly a really great representation of the fact that this is community theater and that I had so much of a community to lean back on to come and say, "Oh, I see this, I can do this, I can make this for you." It's come together so beautifully.
I will say that Pontiac Theatre IV is just one of those like they come you could feel the community every time you step into there to see a show. Like everybody is just working to bring this vision to life, and that you can't do without everybody there.
Absolutely. I literally would not be able to do any of this if I did not have the community that I have. I've been in this theater for almost a decade. I think I started when I was 15, doing the kid shows there. And that I just got to watch so many different amazing actors and everybody on the crew and all of the families helping to put all of it together. And I very luckily have a good handful of those same people able to help me out and help bring my vision to life.
That's so awesome. Like again, it's like a family there.
It really is. Especially my production team, they have held me up this entire time. Oh,
Shout out to the production team for just being there for everything.
1000%.
So with so many deep themes in the show, which theme really do you feel like resonates the most with you?
Oh, that's a hard question. I should have an answer because I have watched this approximately like 30 times by this point. Um,
Uh,
I always I always really resonate with the title song Legally Blonde. That entire sequence is always just very it's hard hitting and I always get so I feel it, like, in my chest just watching it, and especially watching it over and over again with these new actors, and they just put a little bit more into it each time. Um, but it always, like I feel my heart break for these people, and then it's always so rewarding to get to the remix right after and watch it come right back up.
that's a good point. Like you do kind of break for them, but it does make you feel that remix does it help you make you feel a little bit better about it all.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the remix so much.
I mean, I'm somebody that for some reason whenever a show throws in a remix, that ends up being one of my favorite songs. I do not know why. Maybe it's the millennial in me. It just loves a remix.
I understand. I think there's a lot of to do with, like, enjoying motifs, which Legally Blonde has a ton of.
A lot of motifs. Um, is there a moment in the show that you're the most proud of?
Um, I I would say, some of the choreography I'm very proud of, but I'm also I think truly and wholeheartedly, I'm really proud of, all of my cast for going through and doing all of this. I, find myself a lot of time while I'm watching it and while I'm going through things, I don't even understand how most of them remember all of those insane lines. A lot of them are similar to the other, and every time I watch it, the conversation seems almost seamless. It's just I can't even begin to go about how grateful I am for every single one of them.
That is so awesome. And then one final question for you then is just what do you hope audiences feel when they leave the theater?
I hope that they feel like they've gained something and not like something heavy or profound. Because this is Legally Blonde, a lot of people are very, very familiar with the content, but I hope they just feel like they're leaving with a little piece of just a little bit more hope or a little bit more joy about what we can make of this world.
That's a beautiful answer. Absolutely. Um, Achilles, thank you so much for being here today. It's been such a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad we got to do this.
So, Legally Blonde the musical is Bend and Snapping at Pontiac Theatre 4 through March 22nd. So, get your tickets now and we'll see you at the show.